Statistic analysis for business. New project 10. I'm not sure if it's due tonight or due Wednesday, so I missed the deadline last time, so I'm worried I missed the deadline again. So I'm sending out the invite to Gabriel and James. I know James is busy, but just in case Gabriel's available, Gabriel missed last meeting. That's right, invites. I tried this earlier today and nobody popped on. James saw the invitation and he asked me if I was meeting with Gabriel, but I didn't see that email until just 5 seconds ago. I'll send these invites out again. See if somebody pops on. All right, just for posterity, in case they don't come on the meeting again. For recording sake, if Gabriel wants to watch this for our collaboration, I'll read the instructions. Our VP of R&D, Research and Development, is analyzing the expenses of the current year. He wants to see how each project did last year by month. He wants to have the summary dashboard that he can use to present the information to the CEO for each individual project and for the total of the 5 projects. He needs our help. He has provided us with the actual and the forecast expenses for the full year in the attached Excel workbook. At all dollar figures are given in thousands of dollars, i.e., for example, thousands of dollars. Here's what we need. Here's what he needs. On the original sheet 1, calculate the difference, actual versus forecast, between the actual and forecast R&D expenses for each month, for each project: ace, blazer, hammer, home run, jackpot. And doing that was on this first page, which what they provide was the actual and the forecast. And then you make this line down here for difference. And that's basically just this one minus this one. And then you spread that across all the way across for every month. You do that for each one of the projects, laser, hammer, etc. Once you've done different like rows for each of the projects, you just copy and paste those down here into this block showing all the results for each month. And you sum them all up. You sum up all these different rows from the different projects on the bottom here into a row of totals. Oops. I thought I had that in the form of a calculation. Maybe I gotta double click it. No. Yeah, this one's in the form of a calculation. C43 minus 40. What am I doing? I'm messing something up here. Anyway, I'll just hit escape. All right, so anyway, use this block of the data to make that the step 2 is the chart we have to make. Yeah. Go back to the instructions. Here's what he needs. On the original sheet, calculate the differences that I just showed for all the projects. And for step number 2, create a table using that information on a new worksheet that represents the monthly difference from the first worksheet by project and in total. If the difference is positive, actual expense is greater than the forecast, have either the numbers or the cell background automatically turn red. That's this right here. That's using the conditional formatting. If it's more than 0, oh wait, we'll back up a step. Copying all this information, all the differences, copying all this information onto the other page into this table. That's what this is right here. And then using conditional formatting, you highlight the whole table, and you use like what I use less than or equal to 0, and then format all the things that fit that description to show red. Or no, I'm sorry, to show green. Less than or equal to 0 would be green. And on the other side of that, doing the same thing for the red ones would be all the positive, all the greater than zeros. Make them red. And the bottom row here is a row of totals. I differentiated that with a double thick border line right there. All right, well, that's step 1 and step 2, or step 1 right there. Step 2 is making these charts, making this chart right here. Let me read the instructions for that. Create a table in a new worksheet that represents the monthly differences from the first worksheet by project in total. If the differences are I'm sorry, that's the one with the red backgrounds. So step 3 is the worksheet, the graph. In the same worksheet as item number 2, create a graph that allows the CEO to look at the total R&D expenses, total of all the 5 projects. Your graph should show the monthly forecast expense for the full year, the monthly actual expense for the full year, and the monthly differences. That means over here on the data page, we compile all the totals together. Where are we at? Up here. We got the totals of every month for all the actuals and all the forecasts and all the differences. That being a sum of B24 and B20. It's the sum of B24 all the way up there down to B29. Well, no, I remember. The way I did that was I used the control, I think. I chose like this first one, then I did control. I chose the second one. Then I hit control. I hit this one. I think that's what I did. I think that's what the step I took. I don't remember now. I know I did something like that with one of these steps. Anyway, back to what I was saying. By by using these figures, the totals of the actual forecast and difference, I made the first chart. I started out making it all just 3 lines because the actual and forecast need to be in lines and you have to put markers on them. But then the other one, the differences, we changed that used to be a line, but I changed that by right clicking and then changing the what did I do? Right clicking on the differences and change the series chart type. I changed that to a graph, cluster column instead of a line. That's what the instructions say. Anyway, I fiddled with the graphs for a long time, playing in trial and error, but 2 lines up here, and then the bar graphs to the columns down here for the differences, showing the positive above 0 and the negative below 0. We're also told to change the background of our charts to be like different from the table, and I use those gradient colors in the pop out control thing. Alexa, stop. Anyway, to continue reading the instructions. For doing that, to follow these steps. Make the title of the graph total R&D expenses, which is right here, total R&D expenses. And then I also put in the thousands of dollars to differentiate it from this graph, from this pie chart, because the pie chart's in percentages. But that's one of the things you need to do. And then make the title of the graph. Wait. Make the title of the graph total R&D expenses. And then the graph should include the monthly forecast of expenses for a year in a line, the monthly actual expenses for the year in a line, and the monthly differences in the column series. That's what I was just talking about before. And then the next one also says, make the title of the graph total R&D expenses, which just says the same thing up here. But anyway, make the chart type for the actual forecast expenses series line graphs. This is just repeating itself. And then make the difference series of chart type of column graph. Differences series chart type of column graph. Use data labels with the dollar amounts for the bar graph, for markers on the line graphs. Yeah, it basically says what I just said. It's the first chart. This guy. The line graph, the lines for the forecast and the actual markers on it, and the column or bar graphs or column, whatever it's called. The differences is down here in the other type. And over here for the money amounts, the money levels, make sure it's shown in dollars and currency. And on to step 3. What does step 3 say? Or step 4. Format the chart area so that the fill color is different from the rest of the graph. That's basically the gradient colors back here different from the white on the graph itself. And make sure the axes are labeled properly And format is money. That's what I just said a second ago. The money listed in as currency. And in the same worksheet, create a pie graph that shows the total actual R&D expenses for the year by project. Use data labels that show the percentages of each of the total R&D expenses each project represents. Make sure you have either a legend or labels, which I didn't have a legend, but I have labels. Be able to identify the projects in the graph. In my pie chart over here, I've got labels for each one of the pie sections to identify the project as Hummer in, Jackpot, Ace, Blazer, and Hammer. It shows their percentages below it. I like the pie chart. I thought that I was more comfortable doing that one. And what else? 7 is follow steps of professionalism, yada yada yada. I think that's basically how I put my project together, my mini project 10. And I spell checked, and I made the grids not shown in the background, and made it look as professional as I could. I even made the data sheet, the sheet number of the first sheet, look kind of professional with colors and stuff. And that was my project. Down here at the bottom for the pie chart, I thought I was going to have to use this big block of information, but I didn't. I just had to sum up each row and then use the names of the projects and the names of the data of the totals. So these two columns made the pie chart. And that was my finished product there. Can you take a look over anything? Ask me any questions, email me. I'm usually the one asking. I'm usually the one asking the questions from the other guys, though. I freaked out this week, because I missed the deadline for the exam. I had to submit it late. Anyway, I thought this was due tonight, so I'm not sure if it's due tonight or not. I was freaking out. I went ahead and made sure I got this done as soon as possible. What was I doing? Oh yeah. Check and see if James responded. No. And just like before, Gabriel didn't pop on, James didn't pop on. So hopefully this video will help anybody watching it. Good night.